And we begin this series on Data C for game number 1. And spawning here at the top right, she's rocking the red paint from Shopify Rebellion. It is Scarlett.
And her opponent, maybe not quite a fan favorite, but, well, he's my favorite anyways. It is Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Cure.
Huh, pretty interesting. You say he's one of your favorites, but you know, a lot of people don't consider Cure their favorite player just because they feel like maybe he's a bit boring. But what makes him, you know, like what makes him, what characteristics in his play styles or whatever makes him one of your favorites?
Yeah. So I have that habit of picking pro players who are just, you know, very, very consistent. So, for example, Zest was definitely not one of my favorite Protoss, right? And then Stats was definitely one of my favorite Protoss.
Ah, I see.
And, you know, in terms of playstyle, I mean, Innovation was my man. Like, his gameplay, his style. A lot of people consider his style a lack of one, right? But to me, that's totally fine because that's the sort of goal that I've always had in mind. Just personally, as a StarCraft player myself, I'm always striving to learn the standard. I'm always striving to learn, like, what is the best sort of most flexible way to approach the game, right? Because when you play standard, usually you're playing defensively, and when you're playing defensively, you have to be the flexible one, right? You have to be able to adapt to whatever your opponent is throwing at you. And when you become so flexible to such a point, you become like Serral, right? You become the GOAT, you become unbeatable, in my opinion. And so obviously, Cure, nobody is unbeatable, definitely not Cure, but other people find him boring. I find him very inspirational in terms of the way that he plays.
You know what? You make a great point. I mean, you know, a lot of players, they do like the more creative, you know, non-standard players. But then there's also a chunk of, you know, people that does love players that play a bit more standard, play a bit more safe. They're easier to kind of learn from and copy build orders from. Because, you know, you don't have to remember like a billion different build orders. You can just like remember a subset of build orders that can deviate into different branches, and you know, kind of learn a lot more from those type of players.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and that's not to say that other players don't have, you know, good macro or whatever. I mean, he's playing against Scarlett, one of the greatest, arguably the greatest North American Zerg in terms of her macro play. But yeah, it's just, you know, the spiciness is good. Spiciness is fun. But the lack of spice is, to me, it's equally intriguing. So.
All right, looks like both players pretty standard openings, pretty safe. We got a 1-1-1 built. Oh, actually, as I say that.
You know what? I love Cure even more. You know, whatever I said about zero spice, like, yeah. Rated, you know, on a scale of 0 to 10, give me a 10, right? I love Thai food when it's spicy, so this is my level 10 pad Thai right here, you know?
You know, as the Spice Girls once said, spice up your life. You gotta mix up some spice. And it looks like Cure gonna bring out some spicy play. As battle cruisers will be in the field coming soon to a theater near you.
Yeah. You know, maybe he's playing the player instead of the matchup. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not too familiar with how Scarlett has been doing recently, but I feel like she can be vulnerable to a lot of things that a lot of standard, like normal ladder Zergs might be vulnerable to, such as BCs, such as mech. You know, just sort of overestimating her own economy, overestimating the power of her own units, that kind of thing. So who knows, maybe Cure is playing off of that angle on top of the fact that he has his own reputation as a very standard Terran. So I'm excited to see how much damage this first BC can do.
Yeah, same here. It's about halfway done. And I don't think Scarlett has... Yeah, I don't think Scarlett has scouted this as... that Overlord still there at the 9 o'clock side. Actually, let me just double check if he scouted it. Yep, no vision of that fusion core, so playing in the dark essentially.
Yeah, yeah. Getting a very nice cancel on the 4th base. So, you know, delaying the Zerg as much as he can. But yeah, now we see that first BC is out. And it looks like it's all that's going to be created is just one BC. It's going to be TP'd across the map. No Spore Crawlers, just a couple of Queens. And immediately that BC is going to start doing a lot of damage, taking down a couple of drones, taking down the first Queen. Spore Crawler is going to be moved into position. Does Cure initiate another drop? Yeah, so he will be doing that 1-2 punch. Actually, Scarlett is going to be on top of it, sending her lings over to that drop location immediately. This should be enough Queens to push back the BC. And I think that, ooh, Cure actually has to be careful. BC is getting quite low on health, so it will be able to fly on out of there, but not before taking down a lot of just stuff. I mean, I don't know exactly what specifically has been taken down, but I'm sure that quite a few drones were included in that.
Oh, count more drones as these aliens are going to go ahead and roast all these lings and drones. What a great position, even though they get cleaned up. That was a lot of units taken down by those Hellions.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought that more drones would go down, but Scarlett had that excellent pull. Hold that thought because this drop is targeting the Spire. Oh, look at that Marine Micro. That cute pickup micro. Not quite enough to contest the Spire completely, but yeah, so the drones, you know, they formed an initial wall preventing the Hellions from getting into the middle of the mineral line. And that's just so difficult to do, so props to Scarlett for being able to do that, but it looks like she will be transitioning into, you know, that very standard Ling Muta Bane that we've seen time and time again today.
Oh, interesting. Scarlett going for Mutalists instead of Corruptors. What do you think about this? Because you normally, when someone go Battlecruisers, you will see Corruptors instead of Mutalists, right?
Yeah, definitely. But I think that it's because Cure sent in his first BC so early, and it was only one of them, that, you know, it gives Scarlett the indication that, hey, maybe my opponent is only making one BC at a time, right? And of course, individual BCs are great, but you need more than one to be able to contest a bunch of mutas. Even though mutas are very weak, a bunch of them stacked up against one BC can actually do a little bit of damage, and they can actually contest the BC. So maybe Scarlett is just simply, you know, has that awareness to be like, to be aware that she does not need Corruptors against this kind of army composition. But who knows? Maybe Cure goes for even more. Not too sure yet. So he is going to get chased off of creep. Some of the Banelings do go down, but overall the 4th base is going to stay mining.
Oh, it looks like the Battlecruiser has come back for some more damage here. Queens will get into position.
Yeah, Queens are arguably better anti-air than Mutas. But yeah, the Mutas, they haven't been really doing too much this game. Oh, looks like they're going to intercept the VC. I don't know about that. 4 of them is kind of weak.
Yeah.
Okay, so Cure's parade push is starting. He's going to start pushing back that creep. Start using a few of those stims to push forward. He's got a bunch of Widow Mines burrowed as well. Just a couple of them, I'm sorry, but I mean, really one is all you need. Alright,
looks like Scarlett gonna go ahead and start going for some counter harass, as looks like Cure not kind of pushing on forward. We'll be greeted with the Battlecruisers. It doesn't look like the Mutalists will be able to get too much done. I mean, the Mutalists were scout way ahead of time as well, so
yeah. Oh, Scarlett getting kind of aggressive, chasing off of creep. Is this actually a good move? I don't think so. Well, actually, Scarlett was able to trade pretty effectively against that first round of bio. And of course, the background, you can't really touch that with the Widow Mines in front, all that sort of thing. But overall, that was a pretty, like, average trade, which is pretty good considering that was off creep.
Yeah, it could have definitely gone horrible. You know, every time Zergs fight off a creep, you kind of bite your lips a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a pretty even trade there in the end. So all in all, not too bad. I do love this by Scarlett though, for targeting the rock, making sure to clear up to clear up the rock for some extra pathways as well as increase the surface area. Because right now she's playing a very Ling meterless Baneling kind of composition. So getting surrounds and getting larger surface areas during the fight really important compared to, let's say, if she went for roaches instead. So it'll be like, you know, just gotta attack in the front. But anyhow, Battle Cruiser gonna go ahead and toast more drones. We'll get out in time. And
and I don't think the BC actually scouted the Ultra Den, so it TP'd right before the Ultra Den went down. That could be an important scout. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I mean it's a pretty marine heavy army, right? And now it looks like they're gonna start trying to hold this position on the edge of creep, start pushing it back. And I love Scarlett, right? Like, she's fantastic. What I meant earlier by she could be susceptible to the same things that ladder Zergs are susceptible to, I just mean, like, she can be very relatable. You know, for example, gunning it and just going off of creep when it might be a little bit too early, you know, eating big Widowmine hits, that kind of thing, macroing a little bit too hard, droning up a little bit too hard, and not being ready for a push, that kind of thing, right? And it's totally respectable, and it just makes her a more fun professional player to watch, because it's like, hey, I could totally imagine myself in her shoes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so Kier just methodically pushing back the creep. Scarlett with a pretty good Ling Bane run by, not going to get too much done. There is a planetary already finished, so we could be headed into the late game here.
Yeah, possibly, as looks like this attack here at the north side gonna get run in with the Lings and Banelings. Now half of the other army actually not engaging, so a little bit of a poor engagement by Scarlett. She's gonna have to maybe sacrifice this hatchery, or actually gonna go ahead and commit in, but not looking the prettiest of engagements.
Oh no, look at the supply. I mean, well, 5 Ultras aren't on the production tab, but in terms of army supply that is active, Scarlett just took a big hit. Look at that, she's just streaming in Lings desperately, trying to keep the Marines off of creep, but without Banelings, it is not going to be as effective as it could be. Man, that was rough. That was really rough. I don't think that Scarlett traded well at all.
Yeah, even at the towards the end, she traded a bunch of Banelings on a Thor, which theoretically you want to connect them into the Marines. And during this whole time, this BC attacking that 3 o'clock hatchery, taking it out alone.
It deserves that commander status. It has 40 kills, 4-0. That is just a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, give that BC a promotion. My goodness.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to see Cure research Yamato just for that one BC. That way you can start targeting down Ultras or something like that.
Yeah, that was quite brutal for Scarlett to handle.
But now the Ultras are revealed, and they are going to join up with their Ling and Bane brethren. Not quite in time to take down this Bioforce, and of course that is a lot of Widowmines. Widowmines, I love them. I'm sorry, Snoopy, I have to say it. Like, they're just so entertaining and so fun. But against Ultras, I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure.
You know, as a Protoss player, it's in my DNA to hate Widowmines, but yeah, I can understand.
Right. Yeah, it looks like we're really settling into the late game. Both players are just, you know, doing a lot of the administrative work that, you know, StarCraft games are pretty much 99% about.
Yeah, I mean,
players can definitely say that. What? Oh, wow.
Yeah, just a couple of fights here and there, just trying to keep busy. But it looks like Kier gonna go ahead and start moving out with his main army, and man, this is a really important base for Scarlett because Scarlett just had her her 11 o'clock base sniped off during that big engagement, and so the resources are going down. Is there a game heart here? Nope, no game heart. But as you can see in the income, not graph, but income tab here, a lot of minerals being mined here for Scarlett. Almost 3k versus the 2.5k of Cure. So doing healthy there, but still, you know, you don't want to lose another base because that will make it into 4 bases Zerg versus the, let's see here, 1 2 3 4 5 base Terran.
Right. Soon to be 6, actually. We see this command center about to take a very aggressive position, which I like a lot. You know, once you morph it into a planetary, it becomes so much more difficult to break. So, I don't know if this was a mistake by Scarlett, but that Greater Spire is only just now maybe 2/3 to 3/4 of the way done. And it's just a lot of supply that you're investing into Corruptors without any immediate return. So I just find that a little interesting at this stage in the game.
Yeah, I think Scarlett's trying to use those Corruptors since they're basically useless, especially after the Battle Cruiser died.
Right.
Trying to morph them into Broodlords, but I mean, Kira, he's already got the counter for Broodlords. He's got the doors up, the ghosts up as well.
That was like one good fungal followed by 50 good snipes. Oh, a nice fungal preemptively taking care of, or preventing some of those ghosts from putting down their snipes. But we also see a return EMP. Now, a good Ling run by over to the north-hand side. See, this is a move that Zergs love to do, is doing Ling run-bys over by the 3rd base. Because at least at a certain level and above that certain level, the 3rd is almost always guaranteed to be an orbital and not a planetary. So you're able to get a lot of damage done because you don't have this giant building shooting back at your Lings.
Right. And that's definitely a good place to attack. But you know, as the game progresses, it's gonna get more and more difficult for Scarlett to get those run-bys because, you know, it's gonna be more kind of buildings in the way, sensor towers as well. There's like 1 billion sensor towers right now on the field, overlapping one another. But yeah, this is it's gonna get a bit more difficult, or actually not a bit, but a lot more difficult as the game goes on to get those run-bys that Scarlett is so good at getting.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, look at that! Those EMPs. Oh no!
Oh wow!
Infestors, they don't have the whatever the spell is that Vipers have that allows them to, you know, take in energy. But yeah, Infestors don't have that ability, so they're gonna take forever to regenerate their energy. So the ghosts are gonna pave the way for this base to be taken care of. Not a good sign for Scarlett at all. Now, she does have 6 Broodlords on the way, but like you said earlier, the tools for the Terran to take care of the Broodlords are already here, and they're already being used. So, this is really not a good position for Scarlett.
Yeah, I mean, Kira's army, I mean, he has the arsenal to deal with what Scarlett has right now in terms of army composition. I mean, ultimately, it does come down to spellcasting, but I mean, just earlier, just a minute ago, all those Infestors were just EMP'd, so those Infestors still gotta regain their energy and then go at it after a period of time. And in the meantime, those gas are also gathering up energy as well. So, I mean, if we have another EMP on Scarlet's Infestors, then it's gonna be a massacre for Scarlet's Broodlords.
Yeah, definitely. You're just playing slow and steady. I don't think that the creep has really progressed past like 1 additional ramp in the last 10 minutes. So props to Cure for keeping the Queen of Blades back. Now, ooh, speaking of which, Scarlett is going to be able to chomp away at a lot of that first wave of bio. But a lot of the ghosts over in the back are going to survive. Not before getting fungal, but is the fungal going to give the Broodlords enough time to catch up? I don't think so. Snipes are going to start going down. Some of them do get canceled. Oh, no way! Is Scarlett going to clean this army up? I don't think so.
There's 2 more Broodlords here, but the 3 rulers onto the left side does get, or actually 2 of them gets cleaned up. Oh, actually all of them gets cleaned up, and all that remains are 2 broodlords, which is so flimsy against 3 Thors and 5-4 ghosts, and yeah, that was that was a definitely better trade there, I would say, for Kier.
Yeah, definitely. Man. Because the thing about it is there are 2 different threats to the broodlords. You've got the Thors, which deal heavy, consistent damage, and then you've got the ghosts, which, you know, they might deal more damage within a shorter amount of time, but they're, you know, because it's spell-based, you know, based off of that snipe, it's a lot more inconsistent. So it felt like Scarlett, you know, and same as me, I was visually focusing on the ghosts as well. But I think because of that, Scarlett maybe in the moment was too busy dealing with the ghosts to deal with the Thors, and then the Thors were able to clean up the rest of the broodlords.
Yeah. And by the way, look at the map. Kier is about to take both of the left, you know, the middle side base.
Oh yeah.
And that's not good news.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's not good news for Scarlett.
Yeah, that's actually really, really good for the Terran and really bad for the Zerg.
Oh, we have nuke on the way.
Oh, okay. Oh no. I'm getting PTSD. I don't know if I told you, but I'll share the replay with you later, Snoopy. There was this one game that I just got nuked to death, and I had, you know, 50 supply just deleted.
Oh man.
But is that going to be the case here? Ooh. Oh. Can Scarlett find the ghost? Oh no. Oh, okay, just barely out of range, but at the cost of the hatchery. Fungals are going to start going down. Banes have some decent connections, but there are just way too many Thors, I think. Actually, oh man, I can't even tell. Some ghosts are going down. Looks like the broodlord count is going to be enough to clean this army up, but the Terran does have a pretty big gas bank, so they will be able to remax, I would assume.
Yeah, he started with like around 3k gas in the bank, so he should be able to max out soon. However, the question is, what will he max out on? Looks like more Thors, more ghosts, more marines as well, but I gotta say, after what looks to be like a horrible, like 20 minutes or so from Scarlett, all of a sudden, like she's pushing back. She has a chance.
Yeah, she really is. The only thing that I'm scared about is that she is off creep, and that means that she will not have access to transfuses. Wait, is that? Yeah. Transfuses in the recent patch were nerfed such that you can't transfuse off creep. But that's really the only thing. I mean, she is... Oh, wow, I was about to say she's ahead on supply, but she's actually even at this point, so... Yeah, if there is one point that she needs to win, it is right now, because she has 0 bank. She's long distance mining. This is make it or break it for Scarlett.
Alright, here we go. A nice surface area, though, coming from Kier, attacking from the left and the right a little bit. However, these infestors... Oh, man, these infestors getting DMP'd to oblivion. And, oh, man. Does he have enough on the ground to protect the broodlords? It's going to be so close.
Oh, this is really, really close. I mean, all of the lings are down. The broodlord... Actually, the broodlords and the broodling count are starting to thin out. Queens... They are just now only able to start transfusing because the overlords were brought in to poop down some of that creep, but I think it's too little too late. I think that Kier's done it. I think he's held on.
Oh man, I think so too. The supply is still pretty close, but the defender's advantage does favor Kier, and Kier is going to stand right in front and take out everything, all the infestors, all the important units, and this, I think, might be it.
Oh, that must be so infuriating for Scarlett. I mean, she spent so much effort breaking that last engagement, and, you know, this engagement, it didn't even look that bad in the beginning, but eventually the EMPs, the snipes were just too much. Look at that. Banelings are desperately rolling forward, not able to find the connections that they need. We might see GG pretty soon.
Yeah, it looks like the Scarlett's going to go ahead and give it one more go. I don't blame her.
Yeah.
But, I mean... Kier's going to reestablish his base. He's had the bigger resources count, and right now he's maxing out on more doors, more better units. There are some ultras being mixed in, but it's only going to be a few. And this might just be the beginning of the end.
Oh man, there are no more banelings. The lings are desperately trying to get on top of whatever bio that they can. Look at that Thor positioning. That is so good. So little surface area. Not that it's even needed, of course, because the Marines are going to be able to clean up all of the lings. GG is called. What a game.
Alright, so we had one of the longer games that we have had tonight in the previous one. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case for this game, as Moondance going to be one of those maps that going to be really easy for both of these players to establish and to take.
Yeah.
So we can very well see another 26-minute or more game here.
Yeah, definitely.
Now the question is, will Kier once again go for Battlecruiser opening?
Oh man. This time he has to do the infamous double starport opening, where you actually get 2 starports. You get 2 battlecruisers and you get Yamato.
Oh,
and of course that's just the beginning,
Nah, that's too dirty for Kier.
yeah, that's just way too crazy. Oh, right. I forgot. I meant to say it's 3 starports, it's 2 BCs and a Raven. You can't forget the Raven. No, but that's borderline impossible. I'm pretty sure you'd have to bank up gas up until something crazy like 7 minutes 30 seconds before you could afford all of that.
Yeah, that's a lot of gas invested in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like nothing too out of the ordinary. We've got the Hellion opener, and then of course we've got the quick third coming out of Scarlett over at the Triangle location.
It looks like Kier actually went for an early third as well. So both of these players kind of going to open up with a more macro-oriented game here. And looks like we're going to have maybe a couple of minutes of lull as both of these players are trying to build up.
Oh, Snoopy. Oh no, okay, never mind. Okay, so it's a Banshee, it's not a fusion core. But yeah, you definitely called it correctly. I think that because there is a Banshee and because there is Cloak being researched on the Banshee, we're going to be sticking on this sort of Hellion opener for quite a little while before we see Stim. Now we do see the tech lab being placed on the barracks. We also see the third base already up and running. Wow, pretty quick. It's already in orbital and everything over at the pocket location. But yeah, this is pretty delayed. Now, what isn't delayed is Scarlett's roaches. So it looks like she might be the one getting a little bit aggressive.
Yeah, unfortunately, this would have been better. Like if she was gonna go for a big roach push, it would have been better in the last game. Because battlecruisers. I mean, one battlecruiser versus all that roaches. Not as efficient, but with Banshees out, Kier is pretty much set up to defend against this, assuming he scouts it, but looks like he will finally be able to see the roaches, and all the units are moving back, all the Hellions kind of out of position. Unfortunately, no full wall here, so it doesn't slow down the push, but 2 Banshees should be able to, at some point, clean this up.
So the question becomes how many SCVs are going to go down before then. Now, some of these Hellions, the roaches are pretty stacked up, so they are going to be able to do some work. But there are lings reinforcing, at least just momentarily, so there will be some damage taken from the Terran. But overall, not too much, I would say. So Scarlett is just using this as a chance to macro back up. She's getting 10 drones, she's getting another round of queens, she's getting her lair. This push was not meant to kill, this push was meant to put her ahead economically.
Yeah, and it does. She's going to be ahead by about 10 or so worker, but gotta also point out that the lair is quite delayed because of this.
Yeah.
She committed a lot into that, and also there's still 3 Banshees out with Cloak, and that does mean that there are going to be dead workers relatively soon. Even though there are a bunch of Spore Callers, you can always catch a drone or 2 on the transfer, so...
Right. I like what Scarlett did here. She made extra spores, such as the 2 spores over in the main. Ooh, that one Banshee getting a little bit low on health. But yeah, it looks like there's going to be a very smooth transition into a regular bio-tank-based army. Now, what is Scarlett going to go for? I feel like there's a chance she might stick to roaches.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of options. Again, the lair is delayed, so...
Right.
She's definitely going to have to stick with roaches for quite some time. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what she, decides to go for after this.
Yeah, maybe she can transition into a Ling Bane Ravager type of style, which of course gives her a lot more flexibility than just Roach Ravager.
Yeah, possibly. I could definitely see her also going for a Hydralisk because, there's 3 Banshees out there, and even if you're like massing up roaches, you can never move out unless you have like a Nidus with queens in it. So maybe like if she can add in either Mutalisk or Hydralisk, she wouldn't have to be afraid to move out and go attack with those 3 Banshees out and about.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. So I assume the reason why you can't move out on roaches is simply because the bio is just going to kite you for days.
Yeah, that, and of course the Banshees can't just like keep shooting at it.
Oh, right. Yeah, I keep forgetting about them.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, speaking of which, they have been getting some pretty good value, just taking care of creep tumors here and there. Now we do see a very nice double drop over in the main base. Ooh, okay, so that first is an excellent target. Roaches are still slow, really showing the delay of the... Oh no, I think they just finished speed, but in any case, they were too slow to get to that Evo in time. So pretty unfortunate for Scarlett. She's going to be pretty behind on upgrades from this point on.
Yeah, I mean, he already has +1 with his Marines, about to finish +1 armor as well, so Scarlett going to be lagging behind with the upgrades for sure. But I think right now she's preoccupied with these drops here. In the meantime, Kier going to go ahead and establish his 4th base, and the game continues on as Bane's Speed is about to finish. So it looks like for the next couple of minutes, going to be some important upgrades being finished here.
Yeah, we do finally see some of that gas being spent into Ravagers. Scarlett does have a pretty good gas bank. She's actually got an abnormally high gas bank, which kind of indicates to me that she's missing out on the minerals. She's missing out on the base of the sort of foundation of her economy that she really needs, which is things like lings and drones and queens. And she's finally getting a good number of lings out at this moment, but it's just not looking too good. I mean, this double drop has been doing damage forever. Now finding a lot of damage over in the pocket-based location. Look at that, even going so far as to get a good position in between the the extractor and the mineral line, costing Scarlett even more lings. So this is really Kier in the driver's seat. He's the one in control.
Yeah, absolutely. He's pretty much in the driver's seat and doing anything that he wants to do, clearing up creep, harassing once again with those Banshees. And Scarlett is just trying her best to stabilize at this point, and it's just so difficult because this map just like so many places where the Banshees and those medevacs can fly through. So Scarlett got to make sure that she has eyes on the mini map and has overlords spread out to scout. Now there is a good decent amount of overlord spread onto between let's say the 3 and 0 o'clock and 5 o'clock base. But there is a little bit of lack of overlord and creep onto the left side where the Banshees are. So Like, imagine if Kier does a Doom drop here. I mean, this could be really hard for Scarlett to scout, and then if Kier establishes his army at the ramp area, then it's going to be incredibly difficult for these Roaches and Ravagers to go up the ramp.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, how many tanks is that? That is 7 tanks. They are just absolutely going to shred all of Scarlett's army, I would imagine. Look at that, an excellent spread, you know, making sure that they don't all fire at the same time and initiate overkill. These Marines are going to start doing damage on the Lings. There are going to be a flank of Roaches, Ravagers, Banelings, and Lings, but is it going to be enough? Looks like the bio is holding strong for now. A first round of tanks do actually go down. Actually, all of the tanks go down, so an excellent cleanup by Scarlett. But I don't know, this is just one out of many, many bio armies. So I feel like, I mean, just looking at the supply, we've got the Zerg on Roach Ravager tech, which is like borderline, like I would call it tier 1.5, essentially, against bio, which scales up extremely well. And it's not the Zerg who is in the supply lead, it's actually the Terran. So things are still not looking the best for Scarlett.
Yeah, I mean, just pure numbers-wise, you know, we all know how Ravagers and Roaches inflate the supply, and when you have that army composition and you're still down by almost 40 supply...
Exactly.
And then also, on top of that, the 2-2 upgrades on those Marines and Marauders versus your... Well, I guess plus 2 armor just finished with... or I guess, yeah, that's 2 armor. And you only have +1 melee. It's just like not looking too good for our red Protoss, but hey, oh sorry, not Protoss, Zerg. But hey, maybe these Vipers can do some magic.
Oh no.
Or not.
I was really hoping that they would do something, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, what is the point of Blinding Cloud when you don't have any Banelings to connect? GG is going to be called. Kier takes Scarlett out 2-0. Well played.